Generation Z might be onto something when it comes to friendships, and perhaps there's something we can learn from their approach. With a focus on mental health, personal boundaries, and the quality of connections, they are redefining what it means to have meaningful relationships. Florence Ann Romano is a personal growth strategist and the author of Build Your Village, a guide to finding joy and community in every stage of life. So great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us today, Florence Ann Romano. Hello, hello, Florence. How are you?
Muted. I'm sorry. There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
Wonderful to see you.
Yes,
Goodness gracious. First off, it's Monday.
it's
I got
Monday. It's Monday, yes. Okay, but this is a really intriguing topic that we're talking about with you. So, Florence, just to start off, why is it important to reevaluate friendships, especially when they start draining our energy or maybe even no longer aligning with our values currently?
I think sometimes at night when, we're thinking of all the things that we have to do and we start to kind of evaluate how we're feeling about just life in general, sometimes we can't pinpoint what is it that maybe doesn't feel exactly right. And it's not just romantic relationships that take work or can be draining on you or, keep you up at night thinking or perhaps aren't working. Friendships have the same weight oftentimes and also need work. And when we feel like we are not being satiated or nourished by our relationships, that can often lead to that depleted feeling. And so seeing Gen Z attack this as, quiet quitting, a term that was applied to corporate America, not putting as much effort in, kind of doing the bare minimum, pulling away. It started opening up a different conversation about friendship, especially on the heels of the friendship recession that we have in the country today, which really came from COVID.
Yeah, and you mentioned quiet quitting. We became familiar with it when it came
Mhm.
to corporate America. So, how does that apply to friendships? And why is it becoming more accepted to let go of friendships that are no longer mutually beneficial?
Well, again, like you said, it's not maybe bringing you joy or fulfillment, and you're opting to distance yourself from these relationships. And this reevaluation of friendships is not a negative. Quietly stepping back and doing that vetting is very important based on where you are in your life, where you are in the season of your life. I recently had a conversation with a friend, and we have a mutual friend that we were kind of discussing, as girls do, on the phone sometimes. And she said to me, "I just feel like this friend we were discussing doesn't know me anymore and
Mm,
doesn't really want to know me."
hmm
And it was kind of an aha moment for her of things have changed. I'll
hmm
love that person, but they're not the same type of uh, consistent support, or our values don't even align the same
hmm
way anymore. So instead of saying, I just don't like this person anymore, I'm just going to, get rid of them, toss them aside, it's understanding that that relationship may just feel and look different.
hmm
And it may not even be a conversation that these two gals have together. It just may naturally have that evolution to it because now maybe they're both seeing each
hmm
other for who they are at this time in their lives. And that's going to help then set the trajectory for their friendship going forward. But then there's the other side of it, Des. You could decide that I am going to have a conversation with a friend that's making me deeply unhappy or hurting me in some sort of way, and then making a decision from there. But standing up for yourself and knowing that you are worth it, you are worth these conversations, that these friendships in your life, if they are important to you and these people are important to you and you are important to you, that this is some of the tough stuff of life. But friendships, people, community, village, that is what sustains us. We are meant for people.
And why is it important to address the end of a friendship? And how can we do it in a healthy way? Because I mean, at one point, you and this person got along really well, and now you guys are kind of at
Right.
different paths. There's different growth. So how can we end a friendship? I don't know if you can say in a positive way, but at least in a healthy way.
I always say you could say what you mean and not say it mean. And so this applies there too. You know, you can have a very honest conversation and a parting of ways with knowing what your intention is, what the goal is in the
Mhm.
conversation. I think oftentimes that's where we get tripped up.
Yeah.
When we have to have what is going to be a difficult conversation with someone, usually for me, what I think is what's the goal? And also, who is the person that I'm talking to? How do they process information? From
Yeah.
this, all this time that I've known them, I must be able to make that assumption.
Yeah.
So why don't I think about that and then back into the conversation that way?
Mm.
How am I going to deliver this information in a
I
way that
like that.
they can
Florence, you have
accept and
so much
process?
wisdom. I'm going to let our viewers know where they can get your book. You can get your copy of Florence Ann Romano's book, Builds Your Village, wherever books are sold, and stay up to date at florenceann.com.